Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing? Happy Friday. Are you guys ready for the weekend? So this is not the video that, I guess it is kind of the video that I was going to film today, but not necessarily the video that I was going to film today. I was going to do an AITA reaction video today. I started doing those and I'm having so much fun doing those. So if you don't know what AITA is a thread on Reddit. There's actually several of them that stands for Am I the A-hole? So I was going to read some AITA today and react to them. Some of them are rather funny, and so I love reacting to them. I'm having a really good time doing that. And so that was going to be mine today, but then I started getting bombarded with all this stuff, people asking me to talk about this Colleen Ballinger speaking at the school situation. And so I thought, okay, well, I'm going to get on here today and I'm going to talk about this whole Colleen Ballinger situation. I watched 2 videos that Adam Mcintyre put out. I watched some other videos of people talking about it. I saw Adam Mcintyre's Instagram. I watched Colleen Ballinger's vlog talking about it. And so I have educated myself in this whole situation. And then I was like, you know what? Maybe I just will do an AITA video. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for thinking that it is inappropriate for a school to invite a known predator who has grooming allegations to their school to speak to their high school population? Am I an asshole for thinking that? I don't know, but I have a feeling that some people out there probably think that I'm an asshole for that. Some people probably think that I'm an asshole for even saying anything negative about Colleen Ballinger, and that is actually going to come into play today in what I'm going to talk about, because I watched these videos and I have kind of a little bit of a different take on what is going on, and just a little conspiracy speculation about what's going on, just a little conspiracy speculation. But it was interesting to me when I was watching these videos and kind of where my mind went. So if you do not watch my Peterisms channel, my Peterisms channel is where I talk about, I read meditations and I talk about things in my life. And as I'm talking, I just kind of go with my gut of what I'm feeling in that moment. It's something that I've done much of my life. When I'm talking about something, I just kind of go with my gut feeling and go in that direction, then go in that direction. And so as I was watching these videos and I was listening to Adam talk and I was listening to Colleen talk in her vlog, it's been quite a while since I've watched Colleen Ballinger, and and Adam Mcintyre hasn't done any commentary on Colleen Ballinger in quite some time. And so when I was watching all this, so that's important, because if Adam's going to show up and make a video about Colleen Ballinger at this point, when he hasn't covered her in months, for all those people out there that want to say, oh, this is like his goal in life is to take her down. If he's going to come out and talk about, Colleen Ballinger when he's doing podcasts with people and he's covering all different kinds of things at this point, there's no need for him to continue to talk about Colleen Ballinger. So if he's going to come out and talk about Colleen Ballinger, you best believe that he feels pretty passionate about what he's going to talk about in that moment. So the fact that Colleen Ballinger is going to a school and speaking and doing a Q&A and Adam is addressing it means to Adam this is a very important situation. So I think that that's important. But anyway, as I was watching all of this go down, I kind of had, because I have some things that I know as well, not necessarily about this situation, but about some situations, in the world. And so life experience. And so I was thinking about this and I kind of went in a different direction with it a little bit. Not that I think it's okay, because I don't think that there's anything okay about this at all. So let me explain to you kind of the backstory of this. And this is just based on the videos that I watched, okay? First, I need to do a little lip treatment to get into this because I have quite a bit to say. So we're going to do the Magic Mermaid from Treat Beauty. We're going to put that on, followed up by some lip gloss. Okay, so this is the story, right? Eric Stockland, who is her co-host of Haters Back Off on Netflix, and also her new husband and the father of her children, he was honored at his high school that he had gone to before. He was an alumni of his high school. And so he was honored this award for having gone to that high school. It was interesting because the award was for academic and athletic people and things like that. I don't know what he got the award for, but they had him come there. And so then afterwards, he and Colleen allegedly did a Q&A and spoke to the drama and broadcasting students. I'm assuming the drama and broadcasting clubs. I saw one of the students had posted something online about, I'm not in drama class, so I didn't participate, I didn't attend it, but yes, they did come. Because now a lot of the students are speaking out about this, okay? So Eric Stockland goes to this award ceremony in Connecticut. Colleen Ballinger goes there as well. They're visiting his family right now. So Colleen Ballinger, his wife, goes with him. And apparently they were both invited. And then after the ceremony, Colleen and Eric sat down with the drama and broadcasting students to do a Q&A. Okay, now allegedly the students, because a lot of these students are coming out now on Reddit threads and making videos and they're sharing their experience. Allegedly, many of the students were told that they were not to ask anything about the alleged cancellation or any of the allegations that Colleen Ballinger has received. They weren't allowed to ask any of those questions. And that the ones that did or question anything about it are now being reprimanded. In one situation, allegedly, one of the students, their parents have been contacted and that they're going to be reprimanded at class and things like that. And Adam actually said that he wasn't going to come out and say really much about the school, which he now has, until he had validated fact that the school actually was reprimanding these students. So I have to believe, because Adam late last night, was coming out and posting stuff on Instagram. He was tagging the school. I'm going to get to that in just a second. So I have to believe that Adam has validation that these kids are being reprimanded for it. And a lot of channels are talking about this. There's been several videos that have talked about this. So allegedly these kids were told that they were not allowed to ask these questions, that what had happened to Colleen Ballinger was cancel culture, that it was grossly misrepresented and things like that, I think were some of the words that were used, or grossly misunderstood or something like that. But basically that it was cancel culture, that of what happened to her. And so they weren't allowed to ask any questions. And the majority of the kids didn't ask any questions out of fear of being reprimanded by their school, okay? So just imagine being a student in high school and being told that we're having this person come in here. And again, this is what's important about this, and I think that we need to talk about is you've already had kids, okay, that have been allegedly perpetrated and groomed by an adult woman, and so there's a power differential there, all right? A power differential that when James Charles did the same thing with 2 minors, at minimum of 2 minors, that he came out and said that he understood the power differential, not only because of the age gap, but also because of the fact that he was a powerful figure, and he held the power in the situation, and they did not. So he understood the power differential. A power differential is something that's really important to understand when you're talking about grooming and predatory allegations, okay? It's kind of like, it's a mainstay of the definition and the understanding of that. So now you have a school, okay, that is in a power position to these students, that is telling them that if you ask certain questions, okay, if you do certain things, then you are going to be reprimanded for that, okay? So you have a school now that, and this is just my way of interpreting it, you have a school that is in a power position that is telling the students who are in a less powerful position that they are not allowed to speak out about it, okay? Not only that, you have a man that is coming that is getting an award, okay, an honorary award for his achievements of being an actor, so he's in a power position, and his wife, who had, TV shows and Broadway. At one point, the teacher said something about her being on Broadway, so of course they're going to ask her to be there. So she's in a power position too, so them coming together is power couple. So now you have this power couple sitting on stage, okay, that other people are asking questions to. It's not like she came there to ask the students questions. They're asking her questions, so that again is putting Colleen Ballinger in a power position, a place that Colleen Ballinger feels very comfortable in. Colleen Ballinger has demonstrated through the years, okay, whether you believe in the allegations or not, she has demonstrated by her actions in group texts, by her actions in group chats and things like that, that she is very, very comfortable being in a power position as Colleen Ballinger, as the actress that plays Miranda Sings, to people that are less powerful than her. She appreciates and she loves and she feeds off of that power differential, okay? So now you have a school and putting that power differential in play. That is very, very scary to me, okay? Not just the fact that they invited an alleged perpetrator and groomer into their school, okay? I don't know who they're planning on having next, James Charles. Not just for that, which in its own, okay? In the world that we live in today, where kids or parents are literally yanking their kids out of school for every little thing, okay, and demanding to see school curriculums and what their kids are being taught and fighting everything, rightfully so, that every parent has a right to do that, okay? That now kids are being put into homeschooling situations because they're fearful of what their kids are going to be at school, what's going to happen to them, violence in schools and things like that. And parents are very, very concerned about having their kids in school. And yet you have a school that is inviting, even, let's just say, okay, that there's no bearing in truth to the allegations whatsoever. Let's just act for a moment that there isn't actually evidentiary fact out there, okay, that we haven't seen the evidence that Colleen, and if you haven't seen the evidence, just Google it. You can find it in literally 2 seconds, okay? That there isn't actually evidence of Colleen Ballinger having inappropriate conversations with minors, okay? Not just with Adam Mcintyre, but other things. Let's just act for a second like she didn't put Becky in a very unsafe situation or do inappropriate things at her live shows, okay? Which she is now referencing again in her vlog, how much she misses the live shows, kind of hinting at the fact that she might go back to touring again. Let's just say if that evidence didn't in fact exist, okay? We have articles that are written in Rolling Stone magazine. We have major people like Swoop that have made videos about her. I mean, every news source has covered it, okay? So just on that fact alone, if you were a school teacher, a school administrator, or somebody in a school that was going to approve somebody to come into your school with no evidentiary fact or not, you would think out of protection of your students, because you care so much, because your sole duty is the protection of your students, okay, and the education of your students, that you would do everything possible to guard them against anybody that could possibly even be in that realm whatsoever. So even if the allegations had no bearing in truth whatsoever, you would probably not invite that person to school just in case something later came out that there was 100% truth. But that being said, we do have evidence that Colleen Ballinger spoke to kids in group chats, asked them sexually inappropriate questions, had all these different issues going on. We know that about Colleen Ballinger, and they still continue to ask her in the school. And I have a theory about why that is, okay? So now the kids are coming out and they're saying that they're going to be reprimanded for this if they come out and they speak about it, okay? And so several people have made videos about it. Students have allegedly even made videos about it, showing pictures of Colleen Ballinger at the group function or the honorary award ceremony, showing her there. Colleen Ballinger has even talked about it in a vlog, and she's even said that, like, she really missed talking to teenagers. She missed the Q&A part of her thing, which is interesting that she says this in there. Because if you remember back in the day, Colleen Ballinger said that her videos were not made for kids and that her meet and greets were not for kids. So now she's going back on what she said originally, because that was her defense, right? She said, my humor is not for kids, right? It's not made for kids. That was her defense. But now she's saying that what she misses most is her questions and meet and greets and getting to meet teenagers. So what that says is that Colleen has known all along that her fan base was teenagers. So all those inappropriate jokes that she was making in, live shows and her videos, she knows now. She's just validated with this vlog. What she's saying is, I was lying to you. I was doing a cover my ass moment, okay? That what I actually knew all along, like we all knew that she knew all along, was that all of her content was made for kids. And she didn't care how inappropriate it was. And she really still doesn't care how inappropriate it was, It's interesting because as I'm watching these videos, all these people are talking about how, there's several people that have covered this now, not just Adam Mcintyre. And I'm watching these videos and people are like, the school this and the school that, blah, blah. And I have a theory about the school and I'll get to that in just a second. But then people are talking about the Colleen Ballinger, like her talking about it in the vlog and her talking about how she misses the meet and greets and how she's alleging that she wants to come back to touring and all this kind of stuff. And she's kind of going back on what she said before in her previous videos and all that kind of stuff. I think by now that we know by her lack of accountability, by her laughing at the victims, by her making lighthearted jokes about the situation, when she has children herself, she's a mother, she's never taken into consideration other mothers' children, the way that she handled this whole situation as a grown adult, okay, as a 37-year-old woman, the way that she's handled this, I think that we know that Colleen Ballinger, and a lot of people behind the scenes now have come out and said about Colleen Ballinger, she's one of the nastiest people they know. I think we know that now, okay? I think that we know that Colleen Ballinger, the fact that Josh David Evans came out and said that on their honeymoon, Colleen Ballinger wouldn't put down the camera, that to me was such an important moment of what he said, because what it said was that Colleen Ballinger doesn't do anything unless she's doing it for the video or for the views. And why that's important is, if you think about that in reference to, she comes back and she says, well, I've been filming stuff for the last 3 months, I just haven't uploaded, let me put it together. What it says is she very rarely ever puts down the camera, okay? And so if that's the case, why would she come out and speak about this in the vlog, right? I really think that this is a dig at Adam Mcintyre, at the victims. I don't know that she'll come out and do a tour again. She might. I don't know that she will. But I really think that this moment in time for her to come out and talk about being invited to the school to talk is really kind of a dig at the victims. I don't really think she cares that much about, I think the focus wants to be on, she really wants to get in front of kids and she really wants to have this meet and greet with kids and all that kind of stuff. There's probably some truth to that to some degree. But I think when you look at her motives behind it and who she really is as a person, and she's really this kind of like dark soul, you know, and doesn't really care about people. I mean, anybody that really cared about kids at all, anybody that cared about their fans, their audience, anybody at all, would by now come out and said, I don't necessarily see it, but I'm really sorry that anybody got hurt. She's not gonna, you know, people at this point are like, why are they, if this was true, why are they not pressing charges? You guys need to do your education on how the justice system works, okay? I mean, that 7M TikTok documentary, that woman went to the police and reported it multiple times and the police would never step in and do something, okay? And they know that. The victims know this. The victims of James Charles and the victims of Colleen Ballinger know this, all right? That no matter how many times they come forward, there's not going to be anything that's going to happen legally unless they hire an attorney and they all band together, and you're talking about 10 years of their life and a lot of money. And I've said that in so many videos, and people still say, well, if it was real, they would press charges and they'd be sitting behind jail. That's not necessarily how the justice system works, okay? Maybe it should, but that's not how the justice system works at all. So, you know, that kind of go-to answer to defend Colleen Ballinger, and I know making this video, and we're going to play into this in just a second, that I know that I'm going to get a lot of negativity and hate. I said this in my video just the other day, okay? If I talk about Trisha Paytas, Colleen Ballinger, Raw Beauty Christie, you know, whoever, I get a lot of negativity and a lot of hate about it, and that actually kind of feeds into how my perception of what happened with the school a little bit. We're going to get into that. So, going into all of this kind of stuff, I don't necessarily think that Colleen Ballinger, her intention was to get in a vlog and nonchalantly say, I don't know, I feel like she's a little bit more calculated than that. I think she's a lot more calculated than that. I think her getting into a vlog and talking about doing this, because she didn't have to, okay? If Colleen Ballinger didn't want to bring any attention to the fact that she has allegations of being a predator and a groomer, if she didn't want to bring any attention to that, she never would have mentioned it in a vlog, okay? Then you would have just seen kids post about it on the Reddit threads, and a couple people would have noticed it, and it would have kind of died away. She wanted to bring attention to this. She wanted to get in a vlog and talk about how she did a Q&A with kids. So then you have to ask yourself, well, why would she mention that in a vlog? Well, I believe it's for two reasons, okay? Number one reason is I think it's a dig towards Adam and her victims, saying, see, you guys can say whatever you want to say, but people are still going to invite me to their schools to talk, okay? You can put all the allegations out there, but you ain't stopped me yet. I'm going to do exactly what I want to do, okay? And I'm going to have my voice, and I'm going to go to schools and talk, you know? I mean, you can tell when she talks about it, because she's like, oh my God, the kids came up to me, and they were so nice, and you guys were so... You can tell what she's doing in that moment, right? She's trying to piss off the victims and the people that have come against her. Because what she's saying in that moment is, you ain't got me yet. It's her Romeo and Michelle high school reunion moment, is what it is, at a alumni reunion kind of thing. It's her saying, you wanted to keep me down, but you didn't keep me down. You know, it's literally, it shows the maturity, the developmental maturity of Colleen Ballinger, that she's still on that level of being 15 years old. I'm going to show you who has the upper hand, okay? It's literally mean girl mentality. The second reason that she did it is because she knows it's going to bring some attention and people are going to start watching her videos again. Because I went to her channel and her videos are for shit, okay? Her video views are so bad. I went back 10 months ago, which is after the allegations initially came out. And when you look at her views from 10 months ago, let's go back to 12 months ago, okay? So October of last year, 322,000 views, 338,000 views, 626,000 views, 18 million views. That was her high video, okay? After her high video, the fall vlog got 1.5 million views. So this is after her coming out and addressing the allegations the way she thought she did, okay? 446,000 views, 275,000 views, 317,000 views, 198,000 views, 241,000 views, 236,000 views, okay? So that was from 11 to 10 months ago. Let's go back up to right now. 44,000 views, 51,000 views, 43,000 views, 47,000 views, 47,000 views, 39,000 views, and 37,000 views. Now, I said this a year ago, and people are like, Colleen's not, what are you talking about? I said her career is dead. And people are like, her career is not dead. Why don't you ask Colleen Ballinger if she thinks her career is dead when she was getting 1 million views a video and now she's getting 37, okay? Why don't you ask her if she thinks her career is dead? I bet Colleen Ballinger, from getting 1 million views a video to getting 37,000 views a video, I bet she considers that dead. But you ask Colleen Ballinger out there, okay? Because I bet she thinks it is. So why do I think that she did it? I think number one, to get the digs into her victims and anybody else that's come for her. And I think number two, the reason she did it is because she wants to drive some drama to her channel. And she don't give a shit. She don't give a shit about the allegations. She don't give a shit about the victims. She don't give a shit about any of it. Because she knows nothing's going to happen with it now. One of the kids even said at the school, they asked her something about her career, and she said, I'll burn every ukulele I have. I'll never do a ukulele again, or something, when she just recently brought out a ukulele in a video. And so, you know, Adam was saying in his video, well, she can make jokes about it, but they're not allowed to bring up her cancellation whatsoever. And I said this previously too. Colleen will be the first one to make the ukulele jokes, and then everybody will fall in line. This is her testing the ukulele jokes. I'm going to start making ukulele jokes, and then everybody will fall in line behind me and make ukulele jokes. And that's what'll happen, right? So now Colleen Ballinger has come out and she's spoken about it. The kids are speaking out about it at the school. Adam McIntyre's made 2 videos about it. Several other creators have made videos about it. And last night I noticed that Adam McIntyre took to Instagram. And the first thing he said was, hi, and then he put this thing. And I went to the tag of what it was, and it's the school. And I was like, oh damn, he tagged the school in this, okay? And this was before I watched the video. Because in the video, the second video, he says he's not going to reach out to the school or tell people to contact the school. He says, unless there's validation that the kids are being, oh, this is going out of focus. Hold on a second. Come on now. Not right in the middle of my video. And he's like, I'm not going to reach out to the school, recommend that or anything until there's validation that the kids are being reprimanded. But once I find that out, oh yeah, he goes, then I'll be doing something about it. So apparently he must have got validation for it. Because what he put hi and tagged the school. Wondering why you would invite Colleen Ballinger to an event for all your high schoolers in which she would be doing a Q&A with them, and then the kids would post about the experience, and allegedly you're punishing the kids for speaking up and being uncomfortable with having to do a Q&A with a woman who's openly incredibly inappropriate with children. Seems you failed your own job of protecting your children, students, and allegedly hiding behind calling Colleen Ballinger allegations as cancel culture. Then he puts his 2 videos up that he made. Colleen Ballinger speaks at a high school. Why? Kids speak out against Colleen Ballinger from the high school. And he tags them again, and he says, may I refer you to either of these videos? But the fact that you decided to let her do a Q&A with these kids shows an insane lack of care and guidance on your behalf. Having the kids speak out before the adults is shocking. Do effing better. Oh, and also, allegedly punishing the kids for speaking up publicly will not work out for you, by the way. And then he posted effing weirdos is what he posted. And I was like, okay, so Adam is speaking out about this. So I'm watching all this go down, and today I'm watching the videos, and I'm watching like what the school teachers and administrators apparently said about this. And one of the things that you have to remember when you are talking about, and I've said for a long time, okay, that I think that teachers, school administrators, people that work in school systems, I think that they are some of the most underpaid, underappreciated people in our entire world, okay? Teachers work their ass off. Teachers, you know, are so underappreciated for what they do. They have huge classrooms. They are literally teaching our future, okay? And I think that there are a lot of good teachers out there, all right? I think that one bad apple does not necessarily ruin the batch when it comes to teachers. I'm incredibly thankful for the amazing teachers and administrators out there and educators that have an incredibly difficult job, okay? Not just in educating the kids, but in teaching kids about morals and things like that. But does it mean that every teacher out there is a good person? Is it possible that there might be a few teachers, administrators out there that could in fact be Colleen Ballinger superfans? You know, one of the things that's interesting to me is that in the last, I would say 2 years, especially in the last year, since I started talking about Colleen Ballinger, before that when I was talking about Trisha Paytas, is that I started getting a lot of negativity, okay? From several different sources and things like that. I've actually talked about it. And, you know, in looking behind the veil of Oz, so to speak, what was interesting to me was who these people really were, okay? You know, who they were when I could see behind the veil of Oz and see, oh, okay, well, they seem happily married, or this person seems rather miserable. They lost a child, you know, in a really sad way, or maybe that's why they're so angry and miserable or whatever. What was interesting to me, out of the people that defend specifically Colleen Ballinger, James Charles, and Trisha Paytas, is how many of these people are people that are parents themselves? How many people have small children that probably grew up at a time that they were super fans of these people, okay? You know, I know that I have several teachers and several school administrators out there that have been rather nasty in their commentary, you know? And I don't know if they speak to their children that way. I don't know if they speak to their students that way. I mean, I know one of them is a school teacher and has 2 small children. I don't know if that's how they're raising their children, and I'm sure their school would be interested to know that that's the actions and how they speak to other people and how they speak about other people and what they defend, okay? I think that would be interesting. But how does something like this get past all this, right? Well, the reality is, like with my cousin Caroline, I talked about this in a video the other day, my cousin Caroline and I were driving around, and I made a joke about it in my video because I was asking Caroline if she knew who Trisha Paytas was and Jeffree Star. She knew who Jeffree Star was, things like that. She knew who James Charles was. I didn't ask her about Colleen Ballinger. My cousin's enough up on the up that she probably would know who Colleen Ballinger is and the allegations. The reality is a lot of people don't. Even in the world that we live in, okay, where people watch TikTok and people watch this, a lot of people do not know who Colleen Ballinger is or what the allegations were about, which is why it's important to continue to talk about, right? One of the reasons why I've continued to talk about it and made it dedicated that I was going to continue to talk about it, which has brought me a lot of hate and negativity, is my importance of focusing on it is because as somebody that has been a lover and a follower of true crime for years and years and years, I think the importance of the victim story is more important than the perpetrator's story. When many times we get more interested and intrigued by the story of the criminal or the perpetrator, when instead we should be focusing on the story of the victim. I think the victim's story is more important. And these kids, the victims of Colleen Ballinger that are now growing up to be fine adults, they are heroes to a lot of people. Their story needs to continue to be heard. So the fact that school teachers and administrators that put together this thing and probably threw out there, oh my God, Eric Stockland, he was in these TV shows, we should invite him and his wife. Who's his wife? Colleen Ballinger. And that maybe a couple people didn't know who she was and it got through there. And then you have a teacher that's defending it and saying it's cancel culture. Well, when you go to the people that defend Colleen Ballinger, okay, like JoJo Siwa that said it's cancel culture, if you can take a lie and run with it, and people will believe it. And you look at all of the people out there that are Colleen Ballinger defenders, the majority of them, what they say is, it's cancel culture. So does it surprise me that a school teacher, a school administrator, okay, that are human beings like everybody else, could be a super fan of Colleen Ballinger and thought, this is my moment to get to meet Colleen Ballinger by having her husband, Eric Stockland, come in here and get an award, and then I can have a Q&A? You know, does it surprise me that somebody that would be putting together a drama broadcasting school Q&A might be a fan of Colleen Ballinger that has been a musical theater kid herself, self-proclaimed, was on Broadway, was Miranda Sings in shows, and that maybe one of her fans is now a grown-up teacher that can't wait to get Miranda Sings on her stage or Colleen Ballinger? No, that doesn't surprise me at all. I don't think these students are dealing with looking up to a teacher. I think these students are dealing with looking up to a super fan. And I think that's rather scary. I think it's rather scary when anybody's own agenda is taken into consideration and there's not checks and balances in place. And I think that's what's going on. I think the school does need to check and see, how did this happen? I think any school should check and see, how does that happen? How does this possibly happen? The fact that people are constantly contacting Netflix to have these shows taken down, okay? Whether it be Kevin Spacey's House of Cards or Colleen Ballinger's Hate Her Back Off, that Netflix is being contacted on the regular, okay? That Colleen Ballinger herself has talked about losing sponsorships, okay? That companies will not endorse Colleen Ballinger, but a school, based on these allegations, will welcome her in for a Q&A is baffling to me. Absolutely baffling. But there's one person that this idea started with. This idea didn't start with a group of 10. This idea started with one person that sat at a group, sat at a meeting and tossed it out. Hey, you know what? We should have Eric Stocklin and his wife come over here. And whoever that person is, you got your super fan. That's the problem in the school. Not the kids bringing up cancel culture. We should be protecting our kids, not punishing our kids for not wanting an alleged... I mean, even a school with no evidence would not have that person in there, you know? It's baffling to me. It's absolutely baffling to me. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.